Anthony Miraglilo. So I'm just gonna let Anthony.
Hello. Wes, what's up, bro? I thought that was you. How's everyone doing? I got a story about a radical I met, but he was like a radical not by choice. He kind of became a radical because of a horrible accident. I was leaving a show in Philly. I was at the TLA and I was walking down South Street, just rolling down South Street, heading to my truck, and I see this guy in a wheelchair and he's like struggling to get something. And he looks up at me and he says, hey, come here. Can you pick that up for me? I'm like, what? He's like, that cigarette butt. I'm like, okay. And I pick it up for him. And he proceeds to grab it and put it in a bag of half-smoking cigarettes. And I kind of looked at him, and he was a younger man. He was, looked a little disheveled, and he was in a wheelchair. And I was just interested in his story, so I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, like, how'd you end up like this?" And he proceeded to tell me a story of it was just tragic. He fell asleep on a balcony in the summertime, and he had a blanket on himself, and when he woke up, he woke up kind of in like a stir, I guess, and the blanket caught around him, and he fell off the balcony, and he should have died, but he just ended up paralyzed. And then he continued to tell me a story that the reason he's on South Street rolling around is that he's pretty much killing time collecting change, because he collects money from the government, and they give him enough to last him about 2 weeks, he was saying. And he said after the 2 weeks is gone, he gets his bit of medication, he gets a little bit of physical therapy, and then his parents say, hey, like, you got to go do something. So he said he goes to South Street, and he rolls up and down the street, he asks people for change, and he said his biggest hobby is picking up cigarette butts. And that's how he passed time. And after hearing his story, I was kind of amazed. I gave him a couple dollars. And as I was leaving, there's some guys walking down the street. They said, hey, Wheelchair Gary. His name is Gary. You want a turtle? They had a bunch of turtles. And he said, man, what am I going to do with a turtle? And then I left. And I wrote a poem about Wheelchair Gary. I'll read it for you, and then I'll let you go. It's on my phone. That's why I didn't bring my book. If I got it on here. He fell off, no reason, trapped at the ankle, made to live another day, rolling down the Strauss sheet of Philly, collecting half-smoking smokes to kill the time. The old fundamental rehabilitation can't pay for it this time. Broken, young, and hopeless, for the state may pay his rate. Freak occurrence on the balcony left him crippled this time. Not sad, he's just forgotten like a broken window in its frame. The world passes like an omen, left in a wheelchair to beg. Gary reached for what he could never grab, asked for favors from strangers as they passed with their shopping bags. All the pills you could ever feed him could never make him stretch his legs again. And he just remembers, and he hears the sound, the sound, the sound, the sound. Thank you.